Welcome back to Metal Tales Minis. Today we are painting the Sergeant of the Assault Intercessors Space Marines. And we are doing it in a Helldivers 2 color scheme. So I have chosen, the hero of the Federation, because the helmet has a little skull on the front of it, so it matches. Okay, to start out with, I'm going to be using some uniform gray to make the lighter gray parts on his helmet, although I think I should do some black in there first, where the primer didn't get. So we'll use some matte black first. Now we need the light back up here. I'll move the tails out of the way, that way the camera doesn't autofocus to him like it usually does. Okay. Get some black on the palette. I'm going to use the starter brush. Some lighter gray parts between the shoulder pads here. I'm just gonna hit those really quick. Look for any other spots, like under his arm there. We'll just try to make sure that we spread it out so it dries faster. Okay, looks good. Now I can use some uniform gray on the spots that need to be yellow, or that gold color. And on his helmet as well, there is a gold spot. Most of the front of his helmet is this uniform gray color. So we're just going to do that whole front part of his helmet like that. How far back did it go? All the way back there. I got some on the eye part I want to take off. Or at least get most of it off. That way the eye still looks right when we paint it. Message on my phone. Although the eye part is gold, so I might as well cover it with this uniform gray. Okay, that's the mask part. And now I need to do the top of the helmet. Back does it go? I think it should go back all the way. Something like that. Something like that. Okay. Does it look right? It looks like it needs a line going from the top to the edge of the eye. Just a little line right there. This needs to be more rounded. Yeah, like that. Okay. What next? I think I need to do the emblem on his chest. The same color. That way I can paint it yellow and then I can put metallic gold on top of it. So for the other ones, you see the little eye sockets where the skull is. I would try to make sure I didn't fill those up. But since we want the whole thing to be gold, I'm actually going to try to fill those in. Try to anyway. Like so. Need a little bit more gray on the brush. Just like so. And how are we going to do the shoulder pads? Whole top part of this ring on top of the shoulder pad should be that gold color. But then I think the base rim of it should stay black. And my phone is trying to go into sleep mode, so I can't see the picture. But then this part needs to be yellow. Do like a little section like this. And if I go over that line, I can always cover it up with some black. It's nice when the model is mostly black and you can use black to cover it up. Black is easy to use to cover up mistakes. to mimic that on the other side as best as we can. Need a bit more on this side. Too much paint. Too much paint will cause problems. Okay. Looking at the design, let's see. I'm probably going to put the little blue pad right around here, and then have a tiny bit of yellow go on there. Too much paint in the brush. Tiny bit of yellow right there. Like that. And we need a spot, a line on where his jacket would be. Around his belt. Let's see. This time the insignia of the belt is going to remain black. And then it has two little gold parts around there. And the little line of yellow right there, like we did with the first guy. On that side of it. And I'm gonna do a little bit around that leg right there. Yeah, something like that. Oh, I might have messed up on this one. Looks like on the left shoulder pad he doesn't have most of that gold. So, made a little bit of a mistake. No worries. Just wait for that to dry and we'll put some black over it. Is it dry? Is it dry? If not, we can fix it. So I'll just coat the whole shoulder in black except for a little bit of a ring around the edge. Good to know. Good thing to note for later. At this point, I think we do the yellow marks. So, using demonic yellow. A little bit of yellow on there, maybe a little bit more. See, I'm doing the base coat of yellow where all of the gold parts are going. Maybe it'll make the gold look like it pops a bit more. It might be necessary to do 2 coats of this. I messed up right there. Okay. Always keep in mind which parts of the mini are still not dry, still wet. That way you don't ruin the paint job. Because when it's not dry, we do not touch. Do not touch the not dry spots. Back to yellow. Make sure to do this tiny little line right there on the hand. Do the little dots next to the belt and the lines on his legs. It's all blurry. Why can't you see? There you go. Still blurry. We're looking at the Hershey's S'mores emergency water mug. It is good to know where that is. See, if we just painted yellow on top of this black, the yellow would look very dirty. It wouldn't look very good. So that's why we do a light gray on top of the black first. Now here's the tricky part, is that most of the helmet is going to remain that lighter gray color. So the only parts that do get painted gold or yellow is the eyes, which are very tiny, very finicky. Now I've already messed up. Take my brush, make sure that it's wet. Clean up the eye spot. Make sure you don't get any yellow in there yet. Okay. Try again. Very tiny amount of yellow on the brush into the eye. Let's do this eye first. Tiny amount into the eye. Careful. Yeah. Eyes are difficult to paint, but if you are careful, you can fix up any mistake you may have made. It's a very tiny, sharp brush. Make sure the brush does not have splitting hairs. Yeah, there we go. Then we get the helmet picture. Goes from right here upwards. Could you see any of that? Was it blurry? I'm sorry if it was blurry. I'm going to stop right before the edge of the gray part of the helmet. Need more light over here. Right, just a little bit before that. Just paint a line upwards like that. Okay, and the shoulder pad should be dry by now, so I'll do the yellow on it. Yellow really is a good pop of color on black. You can see so much more detail now. Okay. Shall we try to do our metallics now? I'm going to use some greedy gold. Forgot to look for a decent brush to use it on, because I don't want to use my very thin brush for. Ha! This one looks like it comes to a decent point. Some of the time. And it just needs more water in there. Oh yeah, look at that. Alright, and I don't usually like to put metallic paint onto my wet palette. I know you can. I don't like to, so I put it on the paper towel that I'm working on. Paper towel that I've been using to clean my brushes off on. And let's get a little bit of that. There's one hair that is sticking out of the brush. It might cause a problem. We shall see. And then we're just carefully applying the metallic gold to any of the spots that need it. Yeah. Oh, it's over here. Not over there. Not on the wet palette. Shall we try to do the eyes? Oh. This is where it starts looking good, people. Look at that. If you go over any portion, you do not need to worry, because you can always touch it up with the color that is supposed to be next to it. Which I will have to do quite a lot of because of my shaky hands. Let me check the picture. Make sure I'm not missing any gold parts. Looks like there's a bit I forgot to do. Not to worry. It's a simple spot. Just grab the other brush. It's a small portion on the helmet that is these little pipes going into the mask. Paint up that much of it on both sides. Yeah, like that. That much. And then once it dries, we'll put a little bit of yellow on the outermost edge of it, and then we'll put some gold on there. Then it will look fabulous. I'm just doing some little touch-up paint on here while I wait for that to dry. Although I suppose I could do the little screen on his arm. Going to use crystal blue. A little bit of crystal blue. Doesn't need much. Not much. Going to be this little screen right here. There we go. That's all that's necessary for that part. You could make it look a little better by making a bit of a shine on the top of it if you wanted to. Not necessary, but you can. And for his weapon, what should we do for that? I have chosen to use the sickle from the Helldivers 2 game. Let's see, for the sickle, it is mostly black on the handle, and then basically this lighter gray color everywhere else. With some yellow spots as well. So there's a lot of grooves on this gun, so I'm going to try to do it lightly so the grooves stay that darker color. Kind of like a dry brush technique. Because a dry brush only hits the raised edges. Should you be using your very detailed brush as a dry brush? Probably not. we treat it nicely. We don't go crazy like we do with dry brush, so it's okay. And this top part here, I'm actually going to go in the grooves because I want that part to be mostly yellow. Then we're gonna take our yellow paint. Gonna go all over the top portion here. And in the grooves of here. I'm gonna have to re-dry brush the top part of it, just to make sure it all looks good. I'll do that when it dries. Then we'll come back in with our metallic paint. Get some off with the paper towel. And we'll go on the top here. Anywhere there is yellow, there should be gold on the weapon. Although maybe just for the top and the bottom, I might leave the little slits on there as yellow. Let's see what happens when we just put metallic on the bottom without yellow. It'll make the metallic look a bit darker. You can see that's a little bit of a difference than having a yellow base coat and having a black base coat. Is the light too bright there? You can't see it because it's shining too much. Maybe put more on there. not an exact replica of the laser scythe from the game, but it looks close. So you can see how much brighter the top part is than the bottom, because I didn't put yellow base coat on there. Okie dokie. I'm just gonna mark a few more details with this uniform gray paint so that the rest of it doesn't look so bland. And the very back of it, just a little bit of gray. Just a little bit. Maybe a little bit more. It looks pretty bland back there. Yeah. Something like that. Something like that. The back part of the laser gun is, like, the stock of it is mostly black, so it's supposed to look that way. Yeah, that's good. And don't forget to do the pouches in a necromancer cloak is what I'm using, which is hard to see on camera, but is a dark gray that does show up better in person. So it's black, and I paint this on there, and it still looks black, but it is a lighter gray color. And I just make sure I put it on most of the pouch. And all the other pouches. On the first Helldiver, I put the lightest gray color I had for all the buttons and metal bits on there. But on this guy, it's going to be that gold metallic. So we'll get all these done. Slap the paint on there. Okay, what color did I do for the knife handle on the first guy? Light gray on the top of the handle. Okay, I did not put that one out yet. What is that color name? Ash gray. Yeah, ash forget to shake the paint before you put it on the palette. I forgot to put the metallic on his belt, on the sides here. Metallic paint is such a good thing. Makes things really pop and shine. I like metallics. And then I need to be looking at the right picture. Then you can do some touch-up parts on around the belt. Any spot that you may have accidentally painted and it didn't need to be painted, like this shoulder pad. And oh, backpack. Need to do the backpack. I'm just gonna have this guy up front as a reference. I accidentally got paint all over my fingers. Not sure how that even happened. Okay. Backpack. I'm gonna try to make it look almost exactly the same. Where we have the one slot in the top middle yellow. That one right there. And then there's going to be 2 yellow parts on the sides. Right here. And here. Then use the uniform gray for most of it. Like for here. Shaky hands, please stop. There we go. Part. Let's see what else. I covered the top of these vents here with the same uniform gray, like so. And looks like these. The thrusters on the side is that color as well. So I'll do that really quick. Okay, and then this portion here, but not the vent on the middle. I accidentally touched that part. We'll need to change that. I have to do quite a few bits of touch-up work on this one. Because it's hard to make a video of the whole painting process being under an hour. So I'm just slapping on the paint, making sure that you can see it for the most part. And then, after I cut the recording, I will do all the touch-up paint, make sure everything is supposed to be where it should be, and it will look very pretty. Then when I take the picture for the thumbnail, that's what you will see. Alright, and then instead of uniform gray, you use ash gray for the top portion of the backpack. Very carefully painting to ensure that it doesn't go into any of the divots. Like so. Yep. Oh, I forgot. We need the entire thruster part here is that ash gray color. The entire lower part and inside of there. Oops, that's the wrong gray. Ash gray. It's the lighter one. Ash. And with the same ash gray, you can do little those little dots on the side. Because it's a detail in the mold already, so it'd be terrible if we didn't paint that. Looks nicer when we paint it, I should say. Yep, there we go. And that's what it looks like. Yeah, this part on the shoulder pad's kind of messy. Why is it blurry? There we go. Focused. But when I do the touch-up work, I will just take some black and make sure that it is perfect. I'll do some little detail lines. What I'm trying to do is make the grooves on the shoulder pad that you can see right there. Those little lines. If I can replicate that onto here, that would be nice. It requires a very, very thin brush. A little bit of black. Straight line all the way down. That was too much black. Too much. But you get the idea, something like that. I can go back in with some more gold and touch it up a bit in the spots that the lines are too big. But that is basically the paint job. Thank you for watching. And after about a half hour of touch-up painting, here is what he looks like. I decided to make the tops of the knees that, the uniform gray color. That way it doesn't look like his legs are just all black. I painted the rock that he's standing on. I made the lines on the shoulder pad. I put some gold on the skull that is here on his hand. I made sure all the pouches have that gold on there as well. Touched up everything, made sure all the lines are good, and put some blue in the thrusters of the jetpack. That's how he looks now. That will be the thumbnail, is how he looks right now. Maybe I should put a little bit of gold at the end of the plaster. Or maybe just some yellow. Just some yellow. Like that. Pew pew. Yep, that's all. But I would update you on how he looks. And now, what color is the paint water? What color is the paint water? It's brown. It's brown. It's always brown. It's brown. Brownish gray. Maybe just gray. Yeah.